From the NewsChannel 5 network, this is Inside Politics.
Hello, everyone. I'm NewsChannel 5's political analyst, Pat Nolan. Welcome to Inside Politics. At the beginning of every year, people want to know what the economic outlook is for our city and for our region. This is perhaps more important than ever in 2021 as we seem to recover or try to recover from the multiple blows that our community suffered in 2020. Those blows include a killer tornado back in March, riots downtown last summer, the still raging coronavirus pandemic, and most recently on Christmas Day, the bombing that severely damaged a large portion of the historic district along 2nd Avenue, a vital part of the city's tourism and hospitality industry. To give us some insights on where we stand and where the Greater Nashville area is headed in terms of rebound, we welcome back to Inside Politics the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Greater Nashville Chamber of Commerce, Schulz. Rouse, thanks for being on the program. Glad to have you with us.
Always excited to be with you, Pat. Thanks.
To use a most overused word during 2020, has what Nashville's economy experienced been a most unprecedented time beginning last March and continuing until today with all the multiple blows to our economy? Is it the worst you've ever seen in the years that you've been in the city?
Well, there are the most varied challenges in this past year, but it's really not the worst. I mean, we're dealing with isolated circumstances, isolated challenges, except for COVID. So, the underlying elements of the economy in this region are strong. We still have a very diverse economy, and some of those pieces of the economy are working well while others are down. We still have strong entrepreneurial activity in the community, and we still have interest in creating jobs in the community. So, in a lot of ways, the recession's a little bit tougher over a longer span. We just have to deal with each of these challenges one at a time as we go. But our underlying economic foundation is strong.
We talked in preparation for this interview, and you mentioned to me that looking back over our history, what makes Nashville and Nashvillians different perhaps from other parts of the country, other cities, is that when they've experienced tough times, we seem to have a better attitude about it. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I think, Nashville always seems to be putting its best foot forward, and we seem to be putting our best foot forward together. So, the community has a habit, a knack for responding and being supportive in recovery for anybody that's undergoing challenges and difficulties. So, the attitude of Nashville is very forward-thinking, very can-do, and they just we just have a knack for meeting a challenge by saying, okay, let's get on with it. And that's what we do.
Last spring, everything hit kind of quickly. We had the tornado in early March, and within about a week, the coronavirus began to hit. How bad did it get back during April and May when we were going through the shutdown times, and how far have we recovered, particularly in terms of unemployment?
Well, I think that the tornado, we were geared up to respond to the tornado, then COVID hit. And I think in those early days, it was, you just didn't know much, whether it was knowing much about health, knowing much about the economy, knowing how to deal with the issue. I sympathize with our elected leaders who had to make plans with really very little information. So it was a little bit scary in the beginning. We did some economic forecast modeling, and the longer the shutdown went, the higher the toll on people's livelihoods, on businesses. This is a challenge we're going to overcome, but I don't think anyone should take out of their mind at all the fact that many small business owners have encountered difficulties and their businesses didn't survive. Others are continuing to struggle to survive when we get to that recovery. Now, we've been doing economic forecasting since March, and we think that there is a pretty full recovery, except for the hospitality market, by the end of the second quarter this year. In other words, just a few months away. The vaccine's going to help that, and good safety and health practices are going to help that. Hospitality will probably lag 6 months after that.
Unemployment in this area back in the early part of 2020 was near record lows. It had been for some time, around 2%. How long will it be if we ever get back to that level again?
The popularity of Nashville as a business location is so strong that I think within this next year we're going to be back to those levels. I think the things we have to be aware of, First of all, you see unemployment numbers right now that say 4.5%, but that doesn't include the people that are getting supplements and unemployment from the government. We think the unemployment is really still about 9%. We think it's going to be down in that 4 or 5% range by summer. But there are going to be jobs that don't come back, and they're in categories like administration or routine operations that businesses have found other ways to do since we've gone into this COVID slowdown. So it's going to be important that the community and our policymakers are devoting resource to retraining people, new skilling people, so that they are ready for the new jobs that are going to be coming online.
As the virus has surged in recent months, we've begun to see a stagnation again, perhaps, I think, in some of the recent numbers, an increase in unemployment. Are we seeing that here in Nashville because more people are, maybe some businesses that were hanging on have decided they need to start shedding some jobs?
Yeah, I think we've seen some stagnation, but it's been more in that rehiring process. There are small businesses that have to continue to reduce their staffing to be able to stay in business. But I think what we're really seeing is maybe a little slower pace on rehiring that I think is going to pick up pretty quickly. Again, somewhat dependent on the vaccine.
In terms of recovery, Congress finally just recently passed another relief bill of about $1 billion. Did Congress wait too late to act, and does the new relief bill offer enough money to do the job that we need done, particularly here in Nashville?
Well, I think that first package of help was absolutely essential from creating a decade's worth of damage to the economy. I think in this second package, a lot of people would like to have seen even more investment in maintaining the stability of small business, more investment in maintaining employment levels. But the aid's going to be helpful. It's going to help some of those businesses that are hanging by a thread stay in business. You know, the music industry is really key here, and a lot of that music industry is undertaken by entrepreneurs and small businesses. Nashville needs that industry to stay vibrant, and I think this aid package is going to help. When you look at this aid package, though, it has done a better job of hitting small business, minority business, and even specific industry like music and entertainment. There are special programs for those businesses where they can get up to $10 million of support for their lost revenue.
Ralph Schulz, the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce, our guest. We're talking about Nashville's economy in 2021. Back to continue our conversation after this break.